Sailing. The art of controlling the motion of a vessel by adjusting the rigging and rudder. The ship's captain manages the force of the wind in order to change direction and speed. Mastery of the skill requires experience, knowledge, and a rugged, tireless sense of dedication. These qualities, and more, also define those individuals who navigate business, political, and governmental waters in pursuit of a better community for us all. Tonight, we pay tribute to a leader, a visionary, a friend, a man dedicated to quality.
He believes in helping his community and being involved in the community, and has certainly made the community better for his involvement.
A man with a keen sense of responsibility.
Anything he commits to, he gives 110%.
And he's raised the bar so that folks that follow him now know that they have to similarly commit that same level of accountability and responsibility.
A man known for his vision.
He's never been one to follow the herd.
I've seen him start a new company and go from 2 or 3 employees up to 12, 1,300 people. I mean, how many other people can do that?
And a man of unquestioned integrity.
He truly gets so much joy out of helping other people reach their goals.
Quality, responsibility, vision, and integrity. Tonight, the Council for Quality Growth honors these 4 pillars of leadership and success, as exemplified by John A. Williams. I'm Steve Bartkowski, and this is the trophy room of one of Atlanta's most respected and successful businessmen. He's a CEO, on the board of directors of the Atlanta Falcons and several large banks, and he was the youngest ever president of the Atlanta Home Builders Association. He was elected chairman of the Cobb County Chamber of Commerce twice and chairman of the Metro Atlanta Chamber. He was instrumental in founding the Regional Business Coalition and the Georgia Regional Transportation Authority. These items represent 30-plus years of success and achievement, but they don't tell the whole story. The story of John Williams, the business partner, the husband, the father, and friend. For those stories, we need to go to the people themselves, the people whose lives he's touched and in some cases changed. I'm one of those changed people. I met John Williams several years ago, and we've become really close friends serving on the board of the Atlanta Falcons together. You know, like most everybody, I've always been impressed with John's energy and personality. I was sharing with him some concerns that I had, medical concerns, at a backyard barbecue a couple years ago, and at his insistence went in for tests the very next day. And I've narrowly escaped a bout with colon cancer. You know, it sounds dramatic to say that John Williams changed my life, but in this case, it's really true. Where did someone like this come from? Where does greatness begin? John's story, like many American success stories, begins in a quiet southern town during World War II.
He and I grew up in a 2-bedroom house with 1 bath, and our desk was a door we got from a supplier that we bought used, and sitting on top of concrete blocks. So, I mean, as soon as I got big enough to wear the same clothes, we doubled our wardrobe.
John was a good guy. He grew up on the southwest side. And I liked him immediately because he's got such an outgoing personality.
Both of us, we had a paper route together, 2 routes, make extra money, so we worked together.
I think that it established early on that he was very serious about succeeding.
Even as far back as school, if he committed to something, you knew he was going to do it.
My brother's always been an entrepreneur. And when I was 10 years old, he said for me to meet somebody after school, and he had basically arranged a fight for me, and he had put a bet on it, and I won the fight, and basically I probably had 30 professional fights before I was 12 years old, and he made quite a bit of money off me doing that.
He was like I was. He grew up in a poor neighborhood, didn't go to the best school in the world, and we came to Georgia Tech, and we both recognized that Georgia Tech gave us an opportunity through that educational process, which was very rigorous, and they caused you to stay on top of your studies and made you do what you had to do. We learned to do our homework, to not to try to bluff your way through, to know the answers or get the answers before you got called on the carpet. And I think that training at Georgia Tech made the difference for both of us.
After Georgia Tech, John spent several years with Georgia Power, and in his off hours planned his next move. Holding morning meetings at the International House of Pancakes in Sandy Springs, he established a new company and took in partners.
This was in 1971. The project was Post Ridge.
These young whippersnappers were so full of themselves. These were all a group of mid-20s, and they were so full of themselves and knew they were going to go out and conquer the world.
And at that time, people thought you put down asphalt and you put a knocker on the door and a number on the door, that's all you had to do. But he saw the market changing. He, in my opinion, he was the one that changed apartment living and literally made it home living.
Everyone is recognizing when he started, he had a gift for landscaping.
At one time, Post Properties and John Williams was the #1 importer of tulips from Holland. He didn't plant 1 or 2 or 3 like you might do around your house. He would plant hundreds and thousands, and people would literally go and ride to the entrances of those apartment developments just to see those tulips blooming in the springtime.
Most communities, you would go around and just have a few plants or flowers sitting here or there, but he made a huge commitment to that.
I think John understood what I'd call the greening, the environmental philosophy that most of us now, to some degree, take for granted. But John saw it because, frankly, he is a visionary, and he saw it long before a lot of other people did.
Under John Williams' guidance, Post established a true brand.
There are some people who think they know attention to detail, and then there's my father.
On Saturdays, Sundays, he would get in his car, put on an old shirt and some khaki pants, and just wander around in a project or a community. And people that he would see, he'd walk up to them and say, "Do you live here?" The person would say, "Yes, I do." And he'd say, "Well, how do you like it here? How do they treat you? When you have a problem, do they respond quickly?"
He knows that he has a lot of people counting on him. And that's why John Williams works harder than anybody here.
He also has a little bit of a temper. We used to have a sign that would hang on his door that, "Quiet, His Majesty's having a tantrum."
Ask John Williams' employees what it was like working with him at Post. You'll hear a lot of great stories, and some you wish you hadn't.
John always thought he had beautiful feet, and he wanted everybody to see his feet. He would take his socks off anywhere, anytime, to show everyone what beautiful feet he had.
Oh gosh, his feet. He thinks he has beautiful feet, and he tells a story that he was a foot model. That's how he worked his way through Georgia Tech, which I don't think is true, but we have lots of stories that we're not real sure about if they're actually factual or not. But, oh yes, he and Mike Morris used to compare their feet. Yeah, they used to compare their feet and want Leona to judge whose was the prettiest.
So they put their feet up on John's desk and called me in, and I was supposed to make a judgment on who had the most beautiful feet. So I stood there a minute, and I finally said, "You know, where I come from, we don't judge a man on his feet."
By age 39, John Williams had fully arrived. His motto was, "Have fun, make money, and be more than fair." His life, however, was about to change, for the good, forever.
I met John on the day of his 40th birthday. Up at the office, his coworkers had put a sign out in front of the office that said, "Lordy, Lordy, John is 40. 7 years later, we were married, and that was 17 years ago.
John Williams and Post Properties parted ways in 2004. But in one of the most dramatic rebounds in Georgia business history, John created a new real estate juggernaut in the form of Corporate Holdings and Williams Realty Advisors.
He built a fabulous company from scratch.
It's already more successful than the first company he formed more than 35 years ago.
People want to do business with John Williams. People want to work with John Williams because they know he will always be more than fair.
He's, in my mind, sort of the ultimate businessman.
As a builder, John Williams has always been about atmosphere, style, and providing a sense of place. It's an attitude that's no less evident in the home that he shares with his wife Nancy and their 2 children, and the private garden that they've created together. These gardens do more to reveal the heart of John Williams than anything else he's ever created. Gardens are like a painting. They tell a story, he once said. These are the grounds of an artist, someone who loves the complicated simplicity of nature. Someone who believes that, surrounded by beauty, children will grow up to appreciate beauty.
I think anybody that has received great blessings has a responsibility, and I think John knows that.
He's helped the Atlanta Regional Commission. He created at Georgia Tech a chair of regional planning to help manage the growth for Metro Atlanta. He put that challenge grant down in the Georgia Tech School of City Planning.
Peachtree Presbyterian Church, the Lovett School, Georgia Tech, Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, and Piedmont Hospital. And he doesn't do it for the recognition. He does it because it feels good and it's the right thing to do.
20 years ago, the Marietta Square and the park within the square, Glover Park, was really run down, was not being attended to. John, nobody from the city called him up. I was not in the elected office at the time. John called up the city of Marietta and said, I will pay you to revitalize Glover Park. Out of how many hundreds of thousands of dollars he donated. And he supervised it. He has his landscaping firm do all the work. He even paid for the maintenance of the landscaping there for quite a few years afterwards. He did that, he volunteered for it. John Williams has never had a single piece of property or investment inside the city limits of Marietta. He was doing that truly because he liked Marietta.
Well, John had the initial vision to build the Galleria Convention Center. It is the most successful convention center year in and year out in this area.
But just about as soon as the paint dried on the exhibit hall, he said, you know, we need to start thinking about a performing arts center.
Well, I think you could use this facility we're in here today. I think he had that vision. We brought this forward from the inception from the early 90s. Then he chaired the task force to bring this to a model that we wanted to come forward with and go to the public with it. He led that task force.
So when you say first to commit, when you go up to him, he's eager to help.
And once he does commit, of course, that's a full commitment. He uses his time, energy, and resources to make sure that the best job can be done.
First to commit, oh, he commits. I mean, while others said, let's put it on the drawing board, let's think about it, he'll go back, look at it, and come back and say, let's do it. And if you got that type of commitment in terms of project, then others will come on board. People will say, if John Williams is involved, then let me look at it.
Back in the late 70s, when we were going to relocate the chamber building for Cobb County, going to put it down at Interstate North, and John and I were assigned to work on it, and John was going to raise the money, and I was going to be in charge of the construction. I remember going in that room very vividly, and it's been over 25 years. And John sat down, and I can't remember exactly how many people were around the table, but there were 15, 16 people around the table. John took his pocketbook out, his checkbook out. He wrote the first check to build that building. And before he left that meeting, everybody else had written their check, and they'd raised $1.7 million, which was the amount we needed to raise to build the building.
And recently, when it came time to expand the chamber building, John Williams was there. Many years ago, a friend of John suggested that he take up a new hobby and build a sailboat. Now, as odd as the idea seemed at the time, John enjoyed the challenge. And did he build a sailboat?
Well, his other passion besides work is sailing and boat building. He loves nothing more than to pull a team together and create these stunning works of art. In fact, I think he enjoys building the boats more than using them. It's where his creativity really shines. In fact, he would never tell you this, but our boats have won more awards than any other boats ever built. It goes back to loving a challenge, and I think it goes hand in hand with the fact that he's a builder by nature. It's the one place we go that John can completely decompress and escape from the demands of everyday life.
John, I'd like to personally congratulate you for being the 2007 recipient of the 4-Pillar Award. You are most deserving of this prestigious award. I would also like to thank you for all of the opportunities that you have given me and my family over the past 23 years. And I would like to tell you once again how very proud I am of you, how proud I am to be your assistant, and just want to let you know that you mean the world to me.
I am so glad to be able to call you my friend and my partner, and I appreciate all that you have done for me and for my family. Congratulations.
I look forward to spending a number of years together with you as this relationship continues on.
John, I want to thank you for all the opportunities that you gave me in my job, which I would never have found anywhere else, and in my relationships.
I, for one, salute you as a leader and a personal friend. Thank you very much.
John, congratulations on the 4-Pillar Award tonight. You clearly deserve it. You clearly exemplified the best in development.
And what you have meant as a friend to me and to all the people in Georgia, especially the metro area, is unmeasurable. Thank you so much for your friendship.
This award speaks volume of your contributions, and so congratulations.
I'm truly excited about looking to the future and more successes for you, your team, and all of us in this region.
As long as we can, let's just keep hitting them, go getting them, and slide both ways.
Thank you for being a friend, and thank you for being part of Marietta and Cobb County.
In all these years that we've known each other, you have never, ever told me anything that you did not do, and in most cases, you far exceeded it. I'm grateful for that, and I cherish it.
The thing that I'm looking forward to is the next year's.
Thank you, John, for a wonderful relationship and friendship.
Certainly Earl Smith is a better person for having known you, John. And again, this award couldn't happen to a more deserving person.
I can't think of anyone who exemplifies the pillars of this award more than you. And you've been a loyal friend all this time, and it's just something that I deeply appreciate.
Congratulations, John. If anybody deserves this award, you do. You're one of the most respected people in this town. You deserve that too. But most of all, you're the most respected person to me. I love you.
Dad, I know you've been honored many times over your career, and all of those were much deserved. However, this is a special award, and on behalf of the entire family, we can't tell you how proud we are of you.
Sweetheart, congratulations on winning this award. I'm proud of you and I love you. I love you very much. I'm finally willing to admit to you that the story you love to tell about my growing up in Ohio and saying my prayers to please Lord, get me to Atlanta, Georgia, the stories are true. Moving here and finding you has made all my dreams come true.
Shoot it, shoot you out, 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 shoot be do out. Well, sha-na-na-na, sha-na-na-na, sha-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. My baby shoot you out, shoot you out, shoot you out, shoot you out, shoot you out.